Thank you very much, Senator Kaine. Ms. Hanauer, my question is for you. In this big Beautiful-for-Billionaires bill that purports to be good for the American economy, there are provisions that create incentives for American companies to move jobs, manufacturing, and profits offshore. And when you move profits offshore, you also cut your tax liability. You want to explain? They're never explaining this. They don't want to talk about this. It's the last thing they want to talk about. This is buried for their big donors down in the weeds of the bill. So tell us how this works.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Senator. I mean, first, it's just important to remember that they already dramatically cut business taxes in 2017, and many businesses paid zero. Tesla paid zero last year, and many businesses paid lower taxes. But the provision I believe you're referring to is the GILTI provision in the Republican tax bill, and it cuts the tax rate on foreign.
Appropriately named.
Yes. It cuts the tax rate on foreign profits in half compared to domestic profits. And it also exempts entirely a certain portion of profits relative to the...
So if you're a big company, like a pharmaceutical company, you could say, hey, I'm going to say that my intellectual property is overseas in a tax haven, and I'm going to pay that subsidiary that owns nothing but my intellectual property billions of dollars, and now that you've just moved by legal trickery, you just moved your profit paid by American consumers overseas, and that cuts your tax bill in half by having used that trick.
That's right, Senator.
And what is that? Obviously, that's unfair in a million different reasons, but let's just look at one in particular. If you're a company that is big enough to take advantage of that kind of monkey shines, how is it fair for smaller American companies that may have a similar product, a competing product, to go up against you when they have to pay regular taxes? Is there an internal unfairness between these big multinationals and actual American small businesses?
That's absolutely right, Senator. It's simply not fair. It creates a comparative tax advantage if you're able to move some of your activities offshore. And so mom and pop shops doing business in their own communities and hiring people in their own communities don't have that ability to do that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for helping make those two things clear. This whole business of how this is going to be good for the American economy is belied by these big favors that they're doing for huge corporations that give them a big reward for moving profits and manufacturing and facilities all offshore at the expense of American workers and giving them competitive advantage for pulling that trick against American small businesses. So thank you for helping us make that clear.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Whitehouse.